we don't like being predictable, and it keeps people, whoa, what's coming next,
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is 𝕮𝖊 𝗫𝗎𝗓. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now.
Unfortunately, I got COVID about 4 or 5 days ago, so I had to stop. So yeah, so I've still got it actually. So I'm sort of,
How are you feeling?
Yeah, okay now, not too bad.
Yeah. It's still it's still a reality of this world, unfortunately. Even if
it comes and goes.
It does.
Nobody else got it on tour, just me. So it's a bit strange. But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. Talking about things that have affected the band. Obviously, I want to ask you. How is Paul doing? And with the decision of Paul to kind of step away from touring, that must have been a bit of an adjustment for you. I mean, he's been your brother for so long. How's that for you?
Well, it wasn't a surprise because he'd been saying it for quite some time, so it wasn't really a shock. We told him that if he wanted to retire anytime he could, there's no problem. No, he's fine. He's not ill. There's nothing wrong with him.
Right.
He's just had enough of the pressure of touring, really, and all the touring. That's it, really. I mean, he is going to be playing with us till the end of the year, so I don't think it's as much of a shock for us as it is for fans of the band, really, because we have talked about it a few times, whether he should carry on, whether he should retire, and I think that the band are getting bigger and the tours are getting longer, and the venues are getting bigger, so I just think I'm just going to stop now, and I mean, he's going to be making albums with us, writing songs with us. I mean, it's pretty similar to when Nigel left. Nigel left a couple of times, and he went to do a solo album, and he went to join the band. But he still was in the band, if you know what I mean. He was still part of the band. So I don't think people should be too worried. It'll be fine.
We won't be the last, the pilgrimage.
I think we'll just get somebody, we're going to get somebody from the same era, who plays, that similar style of 80s guitar to step in for Paul when he don't feel like he can do anymore. So yeah.
Okay. Now it's interesting, as you say, the band's getting bigger, the tours are getting longer, the venues are getting bigger as well, and not only that, the crowd seems to be getting younger, which is interesting. The last time I saw you play was at the Graspop Festival this last summer, and I was there with a group of friends. Most of them was the first time that they saw you play, and many of them said like, "Wow, this was one of the best shows all day." Can that still surprise you that there are still people out there that would consider themselves metalheads that are seeing Saxon for the first time after all these years?
Well, I think we're very lucky in that music just crossed generations. It's not It's not so stylized that it just there's one group of people like it.
Right.
I think we have our sort of music covers a wide scope of different styles. That. From like in the early days, you had 747, which is quite melodic, heavy but melodic, and then you have things like heavy metal thunder, which is like absolute crazy. So we've always had this, dark and light side of the band, and we step in and out of it all the time. And I think a lot of people, because we've been together now for 40 years, I think a lot of people respect that. And a lot of younger fans get turned on with videos, social media, definitely. And we've got to some towns that bands don't go to.
Right.
We're not really. I think music's ageless, and I think we sort of prove that. And a lot of our sort of our friends are the same, priests and people, but. In particular, the Saxon audience, it's a very wide range of ages. We go from 90 to 14 or something, 12, 14. And,
I'm pretty sure I've seen younger people at your shows.
And the people are, they are crazy for the music. So
Yeah.
it's good. I mean, we've had a few good albums recently in the last 15 years, I think. So I think that helps as well.
For
But
sure,
hey, I mean, we're pleased we're pleased that our audience is still thriving, and are still excited to see the band live, because Saxon are about live, a lot of it. Although we do make apparently great albums.
You say, like, we're a live band, we like to play live. The shows are getting bigger. If I remember correctly, one of the first shows you guys played when the world started to open up a little bit more was a Download, and through some logistic issues, you guys had to play a bit of a stripped down set, because I think a lot of the production was still stuck in Europe and couldn't make it to England. Was that for a true live band? Was that also like kind of refreshing to just could just focus on the songs and playing in the audience? What was that like?
Is that 1982 you're talking about?
No. This was just right after COVID. So I think I think you weren't able to bring the entire setup, right?
Yeah, we did that was a great show, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just did a stripped down show. Our equipment was stuck and we couldn't come on, so we just did a stripped down show and just played our music and. Played our music, went crazy, and brought the audience with us. Really, that's what it's all about.
What do you want? Do you want Heavy Metal Thunder or Princess of the Night? Looks like there's an answer there. Then you gonna sing it with me? Come on, then.
If you can capture a festival audience, because they're not all there for you, obviously, unless you're sort of super headliners. But I think you take them on a journey, a musical journey, and a sort of go back in time, reminiscent, playing stuff from the 80s, 1990, you're playing stuff from like the new album, 2021. So it's a great thing to be able to do that, rather than just rely on the big hits from the 80s all the time.
Right. Yeah, because you guys have always respected your newer music as well. There's other bands that have your legacy, but that, I remember like Unleash the Beast in the late 90s, for example, and it was a killer track. And there's other bands that, even if they did release the same amount of albums that you guys did, although there are few bands out there with that legacy, would still live, especially on a festival where they get 45 minutes tops, they would just stick with those first 4 or 5 albums, and you guys don't. Mm-hmm. Is that a conscious decision to not let the good stuff that has been released over the years get buried in the classics?
Yeah, we try to do deep cuts whenever we can, unless it's a 40th 40th anniversary show.
Right.
Vic 𝗏𝐿's thing. We'll be doing one of those quite soon in July. We'll be doing one of those. When then it is like a tailored set to the video screens, so we have to stick to that. But
right.
Most shows I'll just throw in songs randomly. I'll say to the boys, you fancy doing this one tonight? Like, yeah, okay. So the set list is ever changing and always moving around. So we have a set list, but it's never carved in stone.
Right. Okay. Good. Interesting.
We can throw in Sacrifice, or we can throw in Metalhead, or Killing Ground. There's loads of songs we throw in. I mean, it's most of the time it's sometimes the title tracks that we use, but sometimes we go deeper into the albums. But on this tour we've just finished, we're doing 7 new songs off the Carpe Diem album, which is quite a lot, actually. When you figure out that most bands' set lists are maybe 14 or 15 songs long, so to have 7 songs, it's half the set, which is quite a lot.
You are the princess of the night. We saw the writing on the wall.
You've bookended that album with the Inspiration albums. one of the reasons that we want to talk today. Maybe not the most inspirational title for the sequel, but More Inspirations as the second album. You fan service. You cover another set of songs like the first one. It's a balance of classics and deeper cuts, kind of like a Saxon set list. You've already shared, there's always a connection. For example, on this new album, we see Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper with Jackknife Johnny inspired you with the sentence denim and leather when you were listening to him in the 70s. Have fans figured out all the connections and Easter eggs already? Or are there still some secrets out there?
Well, some of them are sort of quite, like the Queen song. The guitar is, well, heavily influenced by Clapton. I was a bass player at the time, so I was heavily influenced by Jack Bruce. So that's the reason there's a Queen song on there, because they were instrumental in us learning to play instruments and things. And that song is a particularly cool song. And, all the other songs on the album, which have made them heavier. And I think on that one, we stepped it back a little bit. So, we don't like being predictable, and it keeps people, whoa, what's coming next, So, I think, most of the songs are connected in some way. I mean, whether people will figure it out, I don't know, because we're not a group of people. Even the 80s Saxon, the first Saxon. We're not a group of people that have the same influences and never have.
Right.
So each person has a different influence coming up there. So, and I think that's the same today, 𝐻𝐵 is into Russian Slayer, the bass player. You can't get too more different than that. Nigel used to be into Kiss when he was younger. So I put a Kiss song on there. And Detroit Rock City is probably my favorite Kiss song, so the heavy song. So and I met Gene Simmons in the 80s, and I think he was producing some bands like Warrant and Peel. I might be wrong. People might say I'm wrong, but he was producing some bands. And Wheels of Steel and Strong Arm Below were the yardstick he used to show these new American bands, how an album should sound and how music should be, alive, basically crackling off the tracks. And I met him at a gig. Chatting about that. So there's always the connection somewhere between these bands and Saxon.
Awesome. I think every single artist that I've ever interviewed that has released a covers album, they always had at least one song on their wish list that for whatever reason it just didn't work out, whether it was from a legal perspective or just like it couldn't fit in their sound. Is there a song that was on the wish list maybe for even more inspirations down the road
there are some songs that we tried that we didn't carry on. We don't have to write anything, so it's quite an easy process. We just have to make it more Saxonized, a bit heavier and a bit more. The vocals are quite challenging because I'm singing a different person's. Every song's a different singer, so I have to try and find the middle ground and keep it as sort of as me as possible, if you know what I mean.
Right.
There are some challenges. It's not easy. And there's a lot of different octaves, a lot of different things going on there. But we had a Jethro Tull track we tried. That we, I don't know if we do another one. If we do another one, that'll definitely be on there. There's a Sex Pistols track we tried.
Interesting.
Well, we like the Sex Pistols, we like the Clash, we like that punk movement thing. It sort of kicked everybody up the arse a little bit and made everybody think, whoa, let's we liked all the chains and the pirates and all that sort of rebellious stuff. It sort of appealed to us. So we were sort of, we used that energy that they had on some of our songs in 1979. So the thing is, to make an album of your inspirations, you have to be honest. There's no point doing something just for the sake of it being a good song. There's millions of good songs. Like we wouldn't do a Bon Jovi song because Bon Jovi didn't influence us.
Right.
know, although he's got some great songs. It's just an example, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we wouldn't do, you know, we wouldn't do sort of, you know, a Maiden song because they were around the same time as us. So obviously
Right.
they didn't influence us and inspire us in the early days. It wasn't Maiden. We're being inspired like bands like Nazareth, UFO, you know, Deep Purple and bands like that. So, yeah, so you just have to be honest.
There's obviously a lot of very bands like, you know, ZZ Top and Alice Cooper and so on. You mentioned Nazareth. The world knows these bands. You're also, at least for me, introducing me to at least one artist that I know had substantial success in Scotland and the UK, but outside of that, maybe not as much. I'm talking about Alex Harvey. And when I was listening to some of the original work after listening to, you know, your cover album,
Right.
it was very interesting. First of all, when you guys released it as a single, it was really interesting for me, not being from the UK or Scotland, to see so many people react to that, like, oh, I used to love this song, and you know, I completely forgot about this, and that was cool to see. And then when I listened to the original work of the band, how there are quite a few, and I know more than a few people have called that out now, similarities in your voice. Whereas that clearly he must have been an inspiration for you. Is that really cool to see that you can help in some way bring somebody else back to the spotlight?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, for me and Paul in particular, I mean, we used to see Alex Harvey all the time. But there used to be a few bands touring in that, you know, middle 70s, early 70s, middle 70s. Nazareth, Alex Harvey, really big bands, you know, filling out, you know, 2 nights at quite a big theatre. They weren't a big arena band, but there weren't any arena bands then, only Zeppelin and maybe Sabbath and Purple. Everybody else was sort of on that big theatre circuit. And yeah, we used to go see them. It was really, really theatrical. I mean, there are some videos of them on YouTube. But, you know, we were mesmerized by their whole look and things. And, you know, and I liked his, although he was, you know, quite a thick Scottish accent, you could actually tell what he was singing and saying most of the time. So I thought that, you know, that I'm quite aware sometimes, you know, about diction in singing. Sometimes I'll listen to the album, listen to the singer. I've got no idea what he's saying until maybe he gets to the chorus. And yet, you know, you have to listen. And I think for me, that's always been important for singing. And I think, you know, I've probably learned that sort of thing from people like Alex Harvey. You know, if you're going to sing some bloody lyrics, then try and make sure that people can understand what you're singing about. You know. Not always, doesn't always work, but I think it's quite important, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean that approach must have definitely helped with the appeal that Saxon has outside of the borders of the UK and in areas where people don't have English as their first language, versus bands that they couldn't really relate to or fully understand the lyrics. On that inspirational note, Biff, I do want to wrap us up because I want to be respectful of your time. And for the fact that you're still recovering from COVID. So I do appreciate that you were willing to take this call. Very much appreciated. Super excited to see these extra covers come out, and obviously the continued success of your latest album. And at the time, or at the rate that you're going, I mean, Saxon has had a release of some sorts every year in the last year. Like, I don't know if it's possible for you to slow down. So maybe we'll have another 2 albums this year and 5 more cover albums in the next.
Well, you will have a new Heavy Water album. The band that you know, we write albums with my son.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that will be out this year, definitely.
There you go.
New Saxon albums coming along nicely, being written, so that'll be out 2024.
There you go. Right, you can put your watch to it, as we would say in my language. Awesome. Fantastic. Biff, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I hope you fully recover very quickly and have a fantastic time. and I can't wait to see the band on the road again, playing all these great songs and some deep cuts for us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. Nice talking to you all.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.